Now welcome to the brand new X-Plane 12.2 beta, which looks beautiful. Look, we've got new lighting. Look how beautifully the plane reflects. I feel like X-Plane is just a lot more crisp than Microsoft Flight Simulator, do you know what I mean? But one big issue, of course, is how scenery looks. This is totally the vanilla scenery, which nowadays isn't that bad. Here we are at the Innsbruck airport. Genuinely, it is usable scenery, but one might say, oh, you know, Microsoft looks a lot better, doesn't it? Because they have satellite imagery and all that, and I would agree with this. While this surely isn't the worst, today I'm going to show you something new. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly 4 add-ons to LooksMax X-Plane 12 and make it look really nice. And we're gonna start off with the biggest one, X-Plane Map Enhancement, which I feel like is underrated. Yes, adding satellite scenery to X-Plane has always been a bit of a task. Years ago, you would have to download all the satellite files, you know, with the tool Ortho for X-Plane, or you can download ortho photos from the internet. Trouble is, downloading the big wide world would mean hundreds of terabytes of download. I'm not kidding. So downloading the whole planet on your computer definitely isn't the option. Rather, it's satellite streaming. And that for a while now has been possible because of a tool called Ortho. I made a video on it. The problem was that was a little bit clumsy, the UI wasn't great, and it used to crash all the time for me. So now, since last year, we have a brand new tool, and it's called X-Plane Map Enhancement. All you have to do is download it, and it looks like this. And here we can now choose which streaming provider we want to use. We can use Google, Apple, China Maps, as well as Bing and other ones like Hybrid Map uses the best ones. Now, actually, this add-on itself is for free, but there is a pro version for like $40 a year. I don't think that's very necessary. I'm just going to use Bing Maps, which is totally for free. But to get the best map service as well as image quality, going high needs a pro license. We're just going to use a medium. You know, we can also here change the ground resolution if we paid for that pro license, but we don't need that. Now, all you need to do to get this software running is set your game paths to where your X-Plane is. And in that folder, you make a new folder. You can name it Orthos or whatever the hell and link it up to your base package path. This is where the software is going to install the base maps. Now, what does that mean? Unfortunately, you cannot just open the software and start the game and it runs already. No, you need to pre-download the area, which is not that bad. Like here, you can select your area, Africa, Asia. Let's maybe do North America. There you go, download, and that really doesn't take long, maybe like 10 minutes for me. It's really not too much file. For example, the Europe pre-package is only 11 gigabytes, but that's all you need to get started. Now, I've already installed Europe, and so all we need to do is press start here. There we go. Yes, and that's loading in. And as you can see here in the scenery folder, it's just created a new folder here. So let's go ahead and open X-Plane and take a look. And especially take a look now at the loading times. Obviously, X-Plane will take a bit of a longer time to load because it has to load the sceneries, and I'm excited to find out about that. So it's reading new scenery files. Let's start a stopwatch here. Come on, let's take a look. Okay, actually looking quite good. We're now at 1 minute now. Okay, and after 1.5 minutes, we've loaded in. That's not too bad. And in exchange, we get a beautiful scenery here. Actually looking quite good. Now, the thing is though, as you can see, all the buildings are missing. Also, there's lots of improvements to make. So let's go ahead and talk about the next thing that I would recommend you download for X-Plane 12 to make it not look like crap. And that is Global Forests. Now, this is a payware add-on here. It costs 27 Australian dollars, which I have no idea how much that is in dollars. Oh, it's $17. And it is really essential because it places trees where real life trees are. In fact, if you plant a tree or knock a tree down in your garden, it will be in the next update. The problem is though, the installation is quite rough. We're talking about 32 gigabytes here. That is pretty insane. Let's go ahead and wait for it to, you know, be over. Alright, so that took a mere 40 minutes. Thank you, German internet connection. But we don't only want the forest to look good, but all the buildings as well, which is why the next add-on that I recommend is Sim Heaven. Finest stuff for simulation improving realism and safety. I don't know how that improves safety. Doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and download Europe for this. Now, this is completely for free, luckily. Alright, that is around 9 gigabytes now, so let's wait for that to happen. Alright, download is completed, and all we need to do now is, copy over the files here to the custom scenery folder of X-Plane. That's going to take a bit of a while. And while that is loading, let me show you my 4th add-on that I definitely recommend. And that is the Airport Enhanced package by Xcoder. Now, that is also payware, but it makes your runways and airports look a lot better. Let's go ahead and download that as well. And let's go ahead and copy that over to custom scenery folder as well. All right, so we've got all that installed. It's time to take a look at our Looks Max X-Plane 12. Finally looking good. We've got that started up. Let's go ahead and just quickly start up X-Plane 12 and see. And well, would you see that? Around 60 gigabytes and 4 add-ons later, we are now talking about a proper flight sim with good looking trees. Look at how they're placed. Very nice. Now, yes, in comparison to Microsoft Flight Sim, we don't have autogen buildings that look amazing, but the buildings look totally fine. Look. After all, we're not using any like add-on scenery for the airport itself. Still looks great. Look, Flughafen Innsbruck, it even says it here. This graphic, I think, could compete with Microsoft Flight Sim. But look at the clouds here. We can take off here in this beautiful new cockpit, which is more sharp, more crisp. The instruments work better than, Microsoft ever could. Anyway, let's take off here, indeed. Oh God, that was a bit of a tail strike. Look, that's showing sparks. Sorry about that. And look, because of Sim Heaven, we have stuff like this church down here. Very nice VFR objects. But of course, what our city is going to look like Venice? I reckon that's not going to look very good on, not installing anything further. Right, so here's the airport of Lido, which is close to Venice. And here's what Venice looks like. Yeah, this, for example, without having any, add-on sceneries installed, looks, of course, a lot more tryst than a lustful Microsoft Flight Simulator. While the water surely looks great now. Oh my God. Shoot. We died again. The city of Venice itself doesn't look too... It should be a little bit more orange. We have some buildings added in here, but definitely this is not mind-blowingly realistic looking. Although, if you're at like 10,000 feet on approach to Venice Airport, which is right here, you wouldn't really be able to tell. You know what I mean? Like from a distance, this looks fine. Whereas the Microsoft Flight Sim, obviously, is just incredible. Well, let's load into London. Let's see how long that takes. I reckon it's going to take quite a bit of a while now. All right, there you go. That took a minute here. That's genuinely not all too shabby. Well, of course, though, London, without any sceneries installed, this is Canary Wharf here, isn't necessarily mind-blowing, but definitely isn't bad. And it totally works. I'd definitely be fine using that as a scenery. Like, especially with the Thames River and the new lighting, which is just ridiculous. It looks beautiful. And you definitely are able to tell that it's London, although I feel like there's too many trees here. Now here is Lugano Airport. God, the new lighting looks beautiful. The new clouds in X-Plane 12.2. Now, yes, this is running on no, airport scenery add-ons at all. And here's a scenery pack for Microsoft Flight, and this is how it looks like in Microsoft Flight Sim. And honestly, maybe these are comparable. Let's take off this beautiful F-14. Take a look at this cockpit here, full power here. Look at this afterburner. So already X-Plane! And how to make it look properly good like I do in my videos. And that was an engine strike, sorry about that. Flying over the Alpine Mountains is now more beautiful than ever. Let me know what you think about these add-on improvements. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters. Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Fanner, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.